Hello everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to another design team project for Not Too Shabby. Today I am making this card using Darcie's Heart and Home Waffle Lot stamp set, which is absolutely adorable. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love pancakes. But today I'm going to be making a card using the waffle and the maple syrup bottle. So I had already stamped out, you could see there on the back of my stamp package, some masks for my stamped images. I just stamped those out onto some full sheet adhesive post-it note paper. I do actually have some masking paper coming to me from Simon Says Stamp. I've never actually used proper stamping masking paper, so I'm really excited for that. Anyways, I'm just stamping down my images here. So I wanted the little maple syrup bottle to be in the front, so I went ahead and stamped that first, covered it with the mask, and now I'm stamping the waffle. I didn't quite get my placement perfect with the waffle. You can see that his little feet are a little bit higher than the waffle, so I'm going to, or than the syrup bottle. So I'm going to try to fix that as I create the card. Of course, I had to stamp the little maple leaf inside the syrup bottle, seeing I am Canadian and all. So today I'm going to be coloring with my Spectrum Noir markers. I know a lot of you have these markers, so I wanted to switch it up from my Copics and do some coloring with my very well-loved and old. Some of these are the original Spectrum Noir markers. I've had them for a long time, and this is how I learned to color. So I'm using GB9, GB7, and GB1. You saw there I did have to do a little bit of tip technique just to get that color blended well. So I'm going to use the same color for the waffle that I used for the little label of our maple syrup. Right now I'm just using the GB1 to lay down a coating or a layer of the alcohol marker so things will blend smoothly. Now I'm coming in with the GB9, the darkest, and I'm just going to lay that down underneath the maple syrup to the top sides of our little waffle here, and then the indentations of the waffle so that they look to be raised off of the actual waffle. So I'm going to bring my mid-tone in, forgot one of the little squares there, and keep kind of moving and blending that color. Then I'm going to do the tip technique here yet again, just to really get that nice smooth blend. It really does make a difference. So if you're having trouble with blending some of your markers, you can always do that, and it will help with getting colors to blend more evenly. Just wanted to go back over our little squares here. I didn't quite get them blended to the extent that I wanted to. Once I finish that up, we'll move on to the next color, which is going to be the maple syrup bottle. And I decided to do this in a more rich dark brown. So I'm using EB6, GB10, and GB8. I'm just laying in my darkest shadow here, so there'd be shadows under the cap, and then where there's the variation in size or the rings around that neck of the bottle. And then I'm having this shading over to the left-hand side, same as I did with the waffle. I'm just going in with my darkest marker, blending that out with the mid-tone. Now, by looking at the caps, you wouldn't think that these colors were so closely related and are blendable. That's one of the reasons why I have my Spectrum Noir color sheet. I find that that's been super helpful ever since I started coloring, and you can just download that from their website. I'm going to color the maple syrup in the same 3 colors. Want to make sure that I'm having consistent colors throughout the card. It just helps it be a little bit more appealing to the eye. I'm going to color the butter with some yellows, so I'm using 3 markers there. That went a little quick. It was tiny little spot. And now I'm doing my red. So I thought I would do the cap of the maple syrup bottle in red as well as the maple leaf. And then I colored the little tongue of the waffle with our reds as well. So I'm using DR5, DR3, and CR2. The CR2 is very light compared to the rest of the colors. But again, you can see here I'm just touching that lightest marker to my midtone and blending that out, and it looks perfect. I'd forgotten the little inside of my waffle's mouth here, so I just went back in and grabbed some of the colors I'd already used to fill that in. So now I'm just doing some detailing here. I'm using my black gel pen for the eyes, and then I brought in my Memento Tuxedo black marker to brighten up the eyelashes. There's actually some lines already drawn on the syrup bottle, and so I just went ahead and used my white gel pen for that and added some white gel detail to the waffle as well. So I'm using an old paper pack. I'm trying to use up paper. I'm using the Perfectly Plaid Christmas by Lawn Fawn. I kind of wanted this to look like a tablecloth. I cut out the images with my stitch circle die. And I was just trying to figure out if I wanted to do a portrait or landscape card. This card is an A2 size card at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to stamp out my sentiment, which reads, "I miss you a waffle lot," which is so stinking cute. I love this. I think it is just a really fun sentiment, and their stamps are always so cute. It would make anybody smile. So stamp that twice, and then I wanted to do some shading underneath them to ground them. I didn't want to use grays because there's no other grays in the card, so I decided to use some light kind of ivory colors. I brought in that GB2 but didn't like the color of it, so I brought in the GB1, which I had already used on the waffle, and then I'm just bringing that out, kind of lightening it up with the colorless blender, which is a Copic marker. Just laid down that piece of pattern paper with my ATG adhesive. I thought it looked kind of plain, so then I thought, well, maybe I'll bring in some ribbon because I don't use a ton of ribbon or embellishments on my cards, but again, trying to use stuff up. So I already had the tape down on the back of this, so I had to be really careful when I was placing this card or the ribbon down. So I'm just going to tuck that behind. So it's a nice seamless edge there on the card panel. And I'm going to reapply that now back down onto my card base. I decided to pop up my circle on some fun foam. I just happened to already have this red circle cut out, so that was perfect. I'm going to leave a center gap here so that it will sit on either side of the ribbon. So I did that on purpose. And now I can go ahead and place this down onto my card. And for the final touches, I'm going to add the ribbon or the bow that I tied with the same ribbon. I don't like the placement of that. I will fix it. And that will be the card for today. So thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all of you for watching and leaving fantastic comments. It really does bring a lot of joy to always read the sweet things that you say in the comments below. So thank you. And of course, just some final touches here. So I brought in my Nuvo glitter shimmer pen, and then I'm also adding some Nuvo Morning Dew, which is just like a glossy accents. I'm going to add that to the maple leaf and the butter and the tongue of the waffle. Now I'm just adding the white gel to the eyes, and we're done. Thanks everybody. Bye.